Alright everybody, well, welcome back. I'm going to have to apologize for that last van video, the first one I uploaded. Unfortunately, there's a couple files corroded, so that's why it has no real intro or anything to what we're doing to the van, so I do apologize. And some of the parts kind of seem like they don't line up. Well, there's other clips in between, but I'm going to try to shed some more light on this old van. Hopefully you can hear me okay, but I got it purring like a kitten finally, and it took some work. Like I said, hopefully you can hear me, but I mean, she's running really well. But it took a lot of fiddling to figure out what was going on with this old van. So, whoops, hang on, hopefully we don't get a copyright here. Let's turn off Judas Priest and my little speaker box up there. But anyways, it took a little bit of investigating to figure this out. Now you'll see it's got new plug wires on it. That really actually wasn't the problem. The problem was actually something really goofy, but I'm going to get to that here in a minute. So the last video, I think that part got into it where I was mentioning the fuel pump was bad and the carburetor needed to be rebuilt. Well, I magically had a carburetor rebuild kit for some Hollies I have, and it actually cross-referenced to working on this Holly. This is a Holly for Ford, so yay, I had a rebuild kit. And honestly, the carburetor wasn't dirty at all. The accelerator pump was actually still soft. It was just, you know, everything would smell like old gas. But I rebuilt it anyways. Got that rebuilt, put a new fuel pump on it so it quit spraying fuel everywhere. And it just still ran really bad. It surged really bad and it sounded like popcorn. Like it was missing so bad. And if you revved it up, it would kind of go away, but it was still missing. Then I noticed the catalytic converter was glowing red. So I knew we had something going on, timing. You know, people are going to tell you it's clogged up. Well, you know, catalytic converters glow red from various reasons. Some people say it's too lean. Some people say it's too rich. Only the back half was glowing, so I'm just going to assume it was too rich and it was just burning that off and, you know, making a fire, whatever. But anyway, so I messed with this rig. I bought a new cap and I bought a rotor, but it was the wrong rotor. Imagine that. But anyways, I put brand new spark plugs in it. I thought, well, it could be the spark plugs, because believe it or not, I've had a car ran horrible and then I put new spark plugs in it and it ran perfect. So I went through the painstaking task of pulling all those spark plugs. Actually, they weren't bad. The passenger front side on this side was kind of a pain, but nothing real weird about them except for there was two that were cracked. And they weren't cracked from me taking them out, they were just cracked because they were cracked. I don't know if you can see that. So, put new plugs in it. I didn't put new plug wires at that time. I just put new plugs. I'm being cheap. We're building this on the cheap side. Ran like that. It actually ran worse after I put plugs in it. So I took them out, gapped them, made sure they were gapped right. They were all firing, as far as I could tell. None of them were wet. Still ran horrible. So then I started looking at this cap, and it's actually just broken because I just broke it. It hasn't been broke this whole time. But that's for me just throwing it on the ground. So I cleaned all the carbon buildup off of this cap, and if you notice, it's got like all these little burn marks. Well, that'll make sense here in a minute. I did get a cap and rotor, but the rotor was wrong, so I was going to take it all back. So I just cleaned up this cap, put it back on, still ran like garbage, messed with the timing, all kinds of stuff. It just ran like absolute garbage, surging really bad, Sounded like popcorn misfire. I pinched off all the vacuum hoses, sprayed brake clean everywhere, nothing. So I was talking to my neighbor, who's actually got a mechanic shop over there, and I was talking to him because I don't know much about Fords, and he said, well, check your firing order. And we checked all that. And he said, well, pull out your rotor and let's look at your rotor. And I said, all right. And I don't remember if this made it into the other video or not, but I'm not a Ford guy. So this is the rotor that was in it. Okay, well, I made that notch in there, but this is the rotor that was in it. It looked suspicious to me when I was looking at it originally, but I just figured it's a Ford. Who knows? You know, maybe it's like those little Nissan 4-cylinders with 8 spark plugs. Maybe it's got 2 of these for firing on exhaust. I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up as I go. We looked at it and he goes, there's no way that rotor is right, you know. It should have a hoop or it should just be a metal tab. We looked this thing up. We cannot find a rotor that looks like this. This says Motorcraft on it. But I think he's right. I think it burnt off because look how it's all burnt weird. And it would run better if you revved it up. So this was just sitting here sparking all over the place. And the gap was probably way off. So I finally hunted down the right rotor. And it's not embarrassing to say, but you know, that's why you have to go back to O'Reilly's like 5 times, because if you don't take the parts with you to compare, they're going to sell you the wrong stuff. The spark plug wires were wrong the first go around. Just the only thing that was right was the cap. Anyways, found the right rotor, slapped them in there, started it up, and it shot a huge fireball out of the carburetor. So I didn't know what was going on, but that turns out because I had the distributor so loose, it was just adjusting itself whenever and however. So I finally figured that out, got it back to where I knew. You can kind of see my mark right there, where I kind of knew it should be. Got it running, came out here and adjusted it, and I mean, it just magic, just started running perfect, purring. So anyway, so, and I guess let me retrace my steps a little bit. I put the new rotor in, but I hadn't changed the cap, and I just put the plug wires on it. I just did that. That's something literally I just did. But so it actually ran with the old cap and the old crappy plug wires, and it purred. So this here had to have been burnt up for a long time. And if the guy I bought this from is watching, let me know. Did this actually quit running on you and you parked it? You know, I never really asked you, and we never really talked about it, but you know, I'm guessing maybe it started giving you problems and then you parked it. But I don't know that. So anyways, that guy right there has caused this entire problem of me pulling my hair out. It's taken me all week piddling on this an hour a day, and finally got it figured out. So now it runs awesome. The last thing I gotta do is rehook up the fuel line. I was cleaning out the tank, so it's just running out of that gas tank down there, but I gotta hook up the fuel line, put fresh gas in it, and then we gotta try to figure out how to get the rat smell out of here. It looks like a cocaine party. Like somebody was listening to a whole bunch of Night Ranger and just went crazy. But that's actually because we threw a bunch of baking soda. We've done bleach. I actually got the stains out of the ceiling. We've done bleach, germicide. I've actually vacuumed up in there with my holes. I put my bore scope. There's no nest or anything anymore. I even took samples of the insulation down in the sides here, and this thing still smells like mouse. So we shampooed the carpet, believe it or not, and it's actually dry. We've actually had a few days where I could leave it open and it's dried out good. I think the next thing we're gonna have to do is put an ozone generator in here and just let it sit to get that funky smell out. But it's been in here for all week with baking soda, and all that stuff. And it actually doesn't smell real bad, but it still has a mouth smell to it. So, and it's actually not coming out of the headliner. If I stick my nose up there, I don't smell it. It's coming out from somewhere else, and I don't know. But I think we're gonna have to ozone this thing, and unfortunately the AC does not work, so I'm gonna have to look at charging it. I'm guessing it's just out of Freon or something. It actually turns on, the clutch and everything sounds fine, it just isn't getting cold. So I'm gonna have to look at that. Our awesome tape deck doesn't work. And I made the horrible mistake of touching the power lock buttons, and then the locks just go up and down, up and down. They won't stop at all. I actually had to pull the relays out, because it didn't matter if I disconnected the battery and plugged it back in, plugged the battery back up 24 hours later, they would just be going up and down. So I don't know what's going on with that, but that's the least of my worries. But anyways, that's kind of our quick update on this guy. And like I said, I apologize for that last video. It definitely didn't come out, and I didn't really realize it. I mean, I know I said it had a couple corrupted videos, but I thought they loaded in, but they didn't. So hopefully this video makes a little bit more sense. So 5.8 Ford Windsor, I guess is what this is, even though it's a 5.8 4-barrel high output. They've got a wonky firing order depending on what years. I don't remember. I know the passenger side is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the driver's side is 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the firing order is counterclockwise, and it's like, I don't know, it's wonky. So I didn't take time to memorize it, but anyways, that's what I got for you guys right now. I might add on to this video and I might not. I am actually going to vacuum out this place and try to get some of this stuff cleaned up. And then, like I said, I had to order an ozone generator, so hopefully it'll show up, because I got one more week, a week and, well, actually just a week. I got a week to get this ready. So now that I know it runs really well, and I've driven it around just a little bit and it seems to shift and it stops and all that stuff, I'll go get some tires put on it. Those old tires are pretty dry rotted, so that's why I haven't driven it very far. I'm afraid they're just going to blow up on me. But we'll get some tires put on it, and then I'm not sure if the dual tanks even work, but I do know it reads the gas that I put in it to flush it out and do some stuff on the rear tank. I do know the gas gauge works, so, and I've kept it on the rear tank, so I think we'll just put gas in the rear tank and do some road test with it. But alright, well, anyways, remember, even though it's a Ford, that's not normal, and I should have known that, but that's how smart I am. Well, if I add some more to this, great. If I don't, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Well, people, even though I shouldn't be videotaping and driving, especially in a rainstorm, since it just rains every day, we're driving the old camper van, and other than it needs tires, it runs actually and drives really nice down the road. Let's do an experiment. Well, cruise control doesn't work, but could be a fuse, I don't know. Anyways, this is a few days later after I made that last video, and we did get the van cleaned out. I'll kind of show you that quick, and then we'll end the video for real.
Alright guys, so we're starting to make kind of progress on this van project, if that's what you want to call it. We've got most of it clean. There's still some carpet stains, but I could probably get those out. Jason doesn't think I can, but I'm pretty sure I could probably get them out. Anyway, getting progress done. Got about a week before we take it on its journey to the track. I race again Friday. First race for Paddock Puff is Friday, and then second race for my Sportsman is Sunday. So this is what we'll be camping in. Step up from the good old Culligan freeze your butt off van. So anyway, it's turning out pretty good.